thing I would have questions about would be the kids. I saw a video or heard audio where Mr. Vaughn was explaining to the kids that he needed to leave and that he felt so sad and he was depressed. And if he stayed in the house, he didn't know if he was going to be there the next day. And the first thing I was like, why are they telling these kids this? Do you know what type of trauma, what type of anxiety a child feels when there's uncertainty, right? And not saying that he was doing it intentionally. Now, mind you, he's a stay-at-home dad. So one would only assume that he's with them most of the time, right? If she's working or has to go out of town or whatever it is, or on lives, he's the one that's there with them. So your caregiver, and your dad, right? For him to tell you that I have to leave because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. How would a child feel? Not good at all. And then if the dad leaves, what are they thinking all day? Are they able to sleep that night? Are they able to eat? Do they have questions? What are they feeling inside that they're not saying? So I was very, very concerned. And to be honest, it's what kind of made me say, okay, I need to do a video about this, because those children, I don't think they understand what level of anxiety those kids may have based on what he said in that video. And I heard, to play devil's advocate, I heard Dre tell him, hey, wait, now I don't know who decided to record this though, right? That's a key thing too, because there could be some manipulation there. I don't know who decided to record this, but I heard Dre saying, wait a minute, you're telling our kids you're not going to be here. We don't know where you're going. I need to kind of level set with them, right? It sounds like she's trying to make it make sense, but I don't know. This is alleged, in my opinion. I don't know if she wants people to hear her saying that. I almost want people to think like, okay, I'm the good guy, right? Listen to what he's saying, but then this is what I said. I'm trying to help the situation. I'm trying to protect the kids, and he's telling them something that may potentially hurt them, right? So that audio was really iffy. I was like, no, you don't tell children this. Don't give, you are just placing anxiety on them, right? And kids, you don't know what they're feeling. They could feel guilty. They could feel like they caused the situation. Our dad is with us most of the time. Is something that we did. So I would have a lot of questions around that. The kids are probably a little bit traumatized too. Pastel XX, do you think they both had a substance abuse problem, or do you think she had something to do with it? I don't know. I don't know. Now I will say, when I saw that he had limited access to the finances, and when I heard audio of them kind of going back and forth and her responding and him leaving out the door. I mean, we can only speculate because it's only audio, right? We didn't see what was happening, but he sounded like he was all over the place. It sounded like some of the situations were very impulsive, right? And then in some videos, it seems like he's very calm. I will tell you, in doing in-home therapy, I had a client once, and they had a lot of kids. I mean, it was probably like 7 kids in their house, and they were all young kids, and they were married, and the husband when I saw this story, he reminded me of him. And that particular client was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, I'm not saying Mr. Vine is diagnosed with that, right? I'm not saying he particularly has the symptoms, but when I heard him speaking, you hear her speaking, you hear the kids, right? It seems like there was some impulsive behavior. It could have been on both their parts. It could have been on his part, could have only been on her part. I don't know. But it sounds like there's some impulsivity there. But I don't know about substance use. It could be. Now, go back to Kratom. If you're drinking that tea, because if they were on an alkaline diet, right? Sounds like he was following it. Whatever she said, if she said, okay, we need to be alkaline and all this, he was on. So I don't know if they were, a substance issue. Now there were some reports that they went to Mexico to get medicine and medicinal things or whatever. But if you're taking that kratom, if you look kratom up, it'll tell you if you're drinking it in large quantities, you're gonna be sick. Seizures, delirium, fatigue. So all of that could have something to do with the thought process as well. On top of that, you're alkaline. So not saying that you got to eat processed food, but if you're not getting much in your system to sustain you, you know what I mean? You're just drinking teas and stuff like that, and you already got a lot of stress, because in that video he's telling kids, I'm so stressed, like it's stressful here, I cannot be here, and I don't know what specifically triggered him to do that, to say that to them. Now, and this is where it starts getting confusing, right? It's a confusing story. Now, Dre, she said, oh no, doctor says you have PTSD. He may have PTSD. I mean, he's a Marine. If he went, he's a vet, he may have PTSD, right? But we don't know. We don't know. It could be PTSD along with something else. You see what I'm saying? It could be PTSD along with something else. It could be PTSD, with different classifications and things like that. So it's so confusing. It's a lot going on here. A lot going on. So then also when I heard about the limited finances, I thought about DV, domestic violence. And it's one of the classic signs, you don't have the abuser doesn't allow you access to the finances. You don't know what's in the bank account. If you need something, you need to ask them. If you need to buy something, you need to ask them. There were alleged text messages of him asking her, hey, can I borrow this amount of money to stay at a hotel because I don't want to stay home? And she's like, well, what would you need? See, he asked her, and allegedly in those text messages, right? It said he asked her for $2,000. And so to me, this is where I was thinking, okay, bipolar, impulsive, right? Because a lot of people with bipolar disorder, they have the symptom of being manic. And when they're manic, they buy all sorts of stuff. They'll go to Walmart. It's like a binge. They'll go to Walmart and they'll just buy random stuff and spend all the money in the bank account. And it's a symptom. And so is that why he didn't have access to the finances? Who knows? Right. So he asked her for $2,000 and she was like, well, why would you need $2,000? And he started to get upset. Right. I'm asking you, I need to get out of the house and things like that. Right. So it's like, okay, you could go, I don't know. I'm like, okay, you could go stay at a hotel, but why you need $2,000 to stay at the hotel? Like, how long you getting ready to be there? He like, oh, I don't know. Okay, well then we need to talk about this. This as a married couple, like this is a problem. We got kids here that don't know what's going on. She indicated in the video, she's like, I don't know where you're going. You didn't tell me where you're going. And then he asked her for $2,000. It may be reasons that we don't know of why she's like questioning him and not giving him access, because maybe he gonna spend it all. And she got a family to take care of. Just playing devil's advocate, I don't know. But I was thinking it too. Well, why would he need $2,000 to go stay at the hotel? She keeps saying also that everyone is going to find out the truth. Right. Now, why? Okay, so that's one side of it, because I'm like, okay, that's one side, right? The flip side is that if that's the case, as a wife, it's almost like, okay, are you protecting him from himself?